You don't have to consent. By not consenting, you're actually obstructing me as an authorised officer, which means the police.
No, I'm just holding my position that you're breaking the law, and these officers who don't actually know these things, because people that are above them don't teach them what the law actually says. They should be helping us from people like you that are stealing our rights.
Are you proud of your work during COVID?
Absolutely. For him to be proud of it, he either has to be ignorant or he's just an evil prick. And I don't know which one it is. I hope it's not the latter.
Avi Mini for Rebel News in Frankston, Melbourne, Australia, where behind me in the court, high-profile freedom activist Nick Patterson is representing himself in his first case for breaching COVID restrictions, for allegedly obstructing an authorised officer from entering his business.
Hello, gentlemen. Got an authorised officer here from DHS in relation to possible COVID breaches here.
So today there's really 3 points to the argument, but one major one.
Yes.
Whether the authorised officer was lawfully authorised.
Yeah.
You say no. Why?
Well, if you just look in the Public Health and Wellbeing Act, it says that there has to be an instrument to delegate these authorised officers. So I've looked at all the instruments that exist on the Government Gazette. There's 155, and none of them enable the Chief Health Officer to authorise authorised officers under Section 30 of the Public Health and Wellbeing Act. So there fails to be any power for the Chief Health Officer to create an authorised officer under that section of the Act. It doesn't exist. So the authorised officers are being gone around as though they're authorised officers, and they're not. In the beginning of the pandemic, it turned out police weren't actually legally authorised, and they had to subsequently go back to Parliament and retrospectively change it so they were authorised officers.
Like I'm telling you that under the Public Health and Wellbeing Act of Victoria, the government has issued a state of emergency, which means that it's an authorised officer and allowed to go into that property and or direct the police to have entry to that property. Let me finish. I'll let you finish. For the purposes of upholding the directions that have been issued for COVID-19.
If it turns out that he was unauthorised, beyond just your case, what do you think should happen?
I think all those people that have been pursued by like all of those cases where the authorised officers gave prosecuted people or pushed any of these charges onto business owners, they all need to be removed, people need to be refunded, people need to be compensated for any trouble, because you've got these people that claim to be authorised officers, unauthorised, going around shutting people's businesses down, clubs down, all the rest of it, and they didn't have authority. So there has to be some kind of compensation, I believe, to make things right.
I'm not like someone that's against police. I'm against people taking our rights, okay? And I'm not against police, but what you're doing now, I'm going to say this isn't right. Okay. This is not right. Oh. Okay, and you don't have legitimate powers to do this.
What about the taxpayer who funded these so-called authorised officers who, if it turns out they really were unauthorised, what should happen?
I haven't even thought about that. That's a good point that you raised. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Should they pay us back?
I can't see that happening, but yeah, I think they should. Yeah.
How you doing, sir? Are you confident you were lawfully a authorised officer, sir? Are you confident that it's going to be found you were lawfully an officer, an authorised officer?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even after a lot of Victoria Police members were found the opposite at the same time? Nothing?
Nothing.
I do not give you consent to go onto my property.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to direct the police that basically, because you're obstructing me to be able to enter the property, that's obstructing the authorised officer in the role of my duties.
Well, you claim that, but I've just told you I don't consent.
Okay, that's okay. That's fine. So I think this would
if you had the actual power, okay, you would probably just do it. I would assume, but you don't have the power. Well, you want me to allow you in. I'm not going to allow you in. I do not consent to you coming into my property.
What did you say to the hindering?
Well, the gate was locked, and I didn't lock the gate, so how could I be hindering the authorised officer in his duties if he was even an authorised officer?
You've committed the offence of of hindering an authorised officer in the execution of their duties, now require you to state your name and address for me, please.
I don't have to. I've told him I don't consent to him coming onto this property.
Yep, but you've also committed that offence, so therefore you are required...
How is it offence to say I do not consent to him coming onto my property?
Will you unlock the gate?
Oh, I don't have the key for that gate. I don't know, he's got the key. Maybe...
You're the same person who locked it 5 minutes before you got here.
What was that?
I don't know.
No, because it was the lock was on there. Did you just lock it?
I don't know anything about it.
Because they might have locked it. I don't have the key here, so I can't open it.
All right. So, like I said, you committed the offence of obstructing the authorised officer. Like I said, you're now required to state your name and address for me.
How is it representing yourself in these matters?
Oh, look, you know, you're dealing with bullies, mate. So when you're dealing with bullies, you just have to be confident. And you have to do your diligence, you've got to do your study, make sure you know how to rebut all their claims, you've got to think it out in your mind. What are they going to say? What would they say to try to trick you? And how do I help defend my position if they try to raise a controversial topic to try to get me off course? And my job in there is just to provide the evidence of the truth and to establish my claim, which is that I didn't obstruct the authorised officer, that he wasn't even an authorised officer, and that there's some systemic failure that needs to be addressed by the government.
Why didn't you use a lawyer today?
Well, I'm spending all of my funds for the big case that I have which is a trial in the county court. I've got a jury trial for when I had my shoulder dislocated, when we were bashed by the police, and when I was put in jail for 29 days. And that all stems from this incident here. So, you know, this is an incident I can represent myself here. I can present myself and I can hold my own here. But a jury trial where there's 43 police witnesses. The brief alone in the other trial is it's well over 300 pages long. And there's about probably 500 hours of body camera footage to go through, to transcribe, use of false reports. So just too much for me. So I'm putting all of my resources into that case, which I also believe will be the one case which could effectively change how police are prosecuted in this state, how the bail's used, and how the police use charge stacking as a mechanism to basically diminish people and get them to plead guilty to things they haven't done.
Why do you think that they are pursuing what would seem to the average person the most ridiculous charge 2 years on?
Well, they don't like me. I believe I was the first business that publicly kept the doors open.
Saying that there's a directive from the Victorian government at the moment that prohibits any personal fitness, personal recreation facility.
Are you proud of your work during COVID?
Absolutely.
We believe that there's a mixed martial arts facility operating at the moment, which is against the directive.
Do you think closing down gyms during a health centre during a pandemic for people's health was beneficial to people's health?
No comment.
No? Somebody who doesn't look half as healthy and as fit as you, who was a professional mixed martial artist, he was going out of his way to try shut down your health facility because he suspected that you were open and your open health facility was a threat to public health.
Oh, yeah, look, it's amazing. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Do we even have to talk about it? It's that ridiculous. It's that stupid, But then they've got the bottle shops open because that's okay. The donut shops are open. The brothels are open.
I'm going to have to break up there, mate. That is public health.
Sorry,
that is my public health.
Mental health, yeah.
Cut that bit, editor.
And the fact of the matter is, I had homeless people living there. I had drug-affected people that needed me to be there. I run a ministry through that place. That is public health. That's real public health. Not this garbage, this guy that's just, following the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, and enforcing tyranny on us. Like, I'm actually helping people in the community. That's what I do. That's the definition of what I do. That's the outcome that I've been producing for years. And I really don't care. Morals come first. I believe in God. There is God. Okay, I've got a conscience. I'm going to follow that regardless of what these people that are moral abdicators have to say on the matter. I don't care anyway, but the legislation doesn't enable what they did, and we've been very diligent and we've got the evidence to prove it.
I said, and what's going to happen is we're going to come back again. some point
Well,
next week with the exact same
menace, isn't it?
with the exact same
That's
thing.
a threat with
Because
menace
we have
because
a
you're
power
harassing
to
me.
direct.
That's
So
a
if
threat
we
with
receive
menace.
another 000 call to say that there's a possible COVID breach here,
You need to
we
learn
will,
what the law
we will
is.
come back with an authorised officer again, and we'll ask you the same thing.
The court has been adjourned till the 9th of December, where the magistrate will hand down his decision as to whether the authorised officer was indeed lawfully authorised, and if so, if Patterson actually hindered him. If you enjoyed this report, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share it far and wide, because I guarantee you the mainstream media will not be running this story as the potential to embarrass the state to a whole new level. So it's up to you guys to spread the word. And make sure to head over to followavi.com, subscribe to our mailing list, and follow me across socials, because if you want to ensure that you hear the decision and they ban us potentially from the platform you're watching on now, well, this way I can send it directly to you. Followavi.com, subscribe to the mailing list, and follow me across socials. I'll get you that decision on the 9th of December.